Hey, welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
This is Questions, Coffee, and Cars number 209. If I was a guy at home thinking, geez, I'd like to take part in that, how would I do that?
Follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Or a woman. Just
or a woman.
Guys in general.
Anybody.
Time now for Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Have you guys heard anything about hybrids in the near future from General Motors? I think it's definitely time to get into hybrids for them. Well, interestingly enough, the executives from General Motors were recently in town and we went out for dinner with them and we got a full update.
Yeah, so they were trumpeting, and just a quick sort of market capsulation is that General Motors has now turned into the leader in EV sales. This is for the Canadian market.
Yeah.
Cadillac is the #1 luxury brand for EVs. They have 3 offerings.
Equinox is #1.
Equinox is the #1 selling EV in Canada, displacing a lot of other vehicles. Tesla used to be #1 overall. They've dropped to number 7 or 8. And General Motors has gone right in there and filled a lot of the vacuum from people maybe moving away from Tesla. And we asked the executive and said, oh, that's really good. That's great about your EVs. But what about those hybrids? And he basically said what, Andrea?
He said yes. We are going to be making hybrids. It's not going to be super fast, maybe 2027, but they realize that consumers are demanding hybrids and they need to go there. But they are super proud of not only their EV designs, their EV price points, and the success that they've had with them. Like, they've become really popular, but they are going to get into hybrids. It's just one of those things that I've said before, and Zach has said before in these videos that we do. They can't pivot quick enough. They were so focused on EVs and gas models that now they do have to pivot. It's going to take them some time.
So Mary Barra, when, I'm not sure if you remember, they had the Bolt in the marketplace, right? And then the Bolt had issues around fires, and then they had to spend billions and billions and billions of dollars to replace all of the batteries on the Chevy Bolt. And then the Chevy Blazer came out, and it stumbled out of the gate with problems, software issues, and they did a stop sale on it.
Yeah.
So they went from having the Bolt, they stopped selling that. The Blazer stumbled out of the gate, and then they finally launched all of these cars. But the interesting thing is that since then, they have proven to be quite reliable, and the Cadillac ones are flying off the shelves because the timing, I said this back at the beginning of the year when Trump and Doge and all of that, I said the timing of all of these products coming into the market is at the right time, because the Tesla lineup is looking old and dated, don't have any new product, or they do, but it's really the same warmed over. So that's why they're captivating the imagination of buyers.
And that Equinox EV in Canada, you can get a model priced under 50,000 Canadian. Although that still sounds expensive, doesn't it? But when you look at other electric vehicles, it's pretty tough for manufacturers to keep that price point down. We did speak to them about the Bolt EV, which is coming soon, hoping that that's going to be an even more affordable option, which is what they said, yeah, that's what we're working on. Please let me know your thoughts on the new Porsche Cayenne EV coming. I've seen a couple videos from Europe. I asked because both Taycan and Macan EV have had very mixed reviews.
Yeah, I think it's got like 1,000 horsepower or something crazy like that. It's, you know, the whole thing is like, oh, we're going to bring Macan and then the gas one will go away. Oh, well, we changed our mind. We're going to keep the gas.
Yeah.
And now we've got the Cayenne. Oh, we'll keep the gas too. So, they're pivoting back towards investing in new technology around internal combustion engines too. They have to, because if the majority of people aren't buying your EV product, then you still have to feed those people that want the traditional.
I'm really impressed with the Macan EV because I think that Porsche really tuned it to feel like a Porsche, yet it's an EV. They did a good job with the tuning of it. I think that Mercedes-Benz did a great job with the G-Wagon EV as well. I think the Cayenne EV looks really good. I've watched some of those videos as well from Europe, and There was one that I watched, and he was driving it, and he was just like, are you kidding me? The power is incredible. Apparently, it's going to be able to tow 8,000 pounds. So we'll see what happens. Look, I know what the Macan EV costs in Canada, and it's not inexpensive. So that's going to be the same case with the Cayenne EV. However, they are going to continue to sell the plug-in hybrid and the gas model.
Hey,
but in
Andrea.
Canada, that gas model now starts at 95,000 Canadian.
Yeah, so what's the EV one going to be?
Wow.
And by the way, your Cayenne diesel can tow 8,700 pounds.
Yes, no, I know.
So
I know.
the fact that it can do that, it has to, because the people that have bought these cars in the past are like, okay, it's got to be able to do all the stuff I had before. One of the problems is that the people who buy these cars are successful. And they're probably pretty good with their money, right? They've been able to make money, and they probably don't like getting rid of their money. And one of the problems is the people that have bought these expensive EVs like Taycan have been burned on resale value. So some people might not want to do that again. They're going to say, okay, I bought a Taycan, it was 150 whatever, and then I traded it in and I got pennies on the dollar. Am I going to go back and get beaten up again on a new one? I think the SUV is a better answer than the Taycan car. Like, there's a bigger market for that. But I think a lot of people who buy these cars are pretty smart with their money and maybe not want to do that again.
Well, we've got a friend who totally loves the EV experience. Actually, okay, so I'll give you the rundown. She started with a Model S originally. She leases her vehicles. Then she moved on to a Taycan, wanted to get into a Porsche. Also leased, had problems along the way with her Taycan, but she's stuck with Porsche. And then she decided, gee, you know what? Do I love the EV experience? I want an SUV now. So she drove the Macan EV, but she also wanted to drive the Macan GTS. And the dealership said, I will be so surprised if you take the Macan GTS after the last 6 years you've been in an electric vehicle. And that dealership was right. She bought the Macan EV, and she is absolutely loving it. And she leases. And you know what? Once this lease runs out, she's going to get another EV.
Yeah. Obviously at the snack bracket where it doesn't really matter,
Doesn't
right?
matter for her.
But yes, there is an issue with depreciation around these things. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
It's true.
I'm not saying that everybody's going to be like once bitten, twice shy. I'm just saying some might be.
As hybrid vehicles become more the norm, should I be concerned about the potential battery replacement costs on my future vehicle? Right now, my 2016 Civic is doing great at 110,000 miles, but I don't need to worry about a large battery replacement after 10 years of ownership. Should this be a concern for long-term ownership?
Okay, so I'm going to tell my story about the Prius and how it started here in Vancouver. I'll
Yeah.
just do it quickly.
Sure.
So Prius was brought into North America as kind of like a test bed from Toyota. They didn't know, they had created this thing and they had no idea what the end use case was going to be. So they brought it to North America, and here in Vancouver, there was a guy who was a yellow cab driver. The cab company's called Yellow Cabs, and he bought one of the very first ones, and he put it into service and absolutely loved it. And he put 300,000 kilometers on it. That's about 160,000 miles on it. Toyota in Japan found out about this, and they bought the car off him and gave him a brand new Prius. And they tore that thing apart and did all the R&D on it, because a cab is a pretty extensive use case, right? Then that spread, and Vancouver was taken over by the Prius cars. And one of them, I think it was Yellow Cabs 15 or something like that, had 150,000 kilometers on the original battery. Sorry, 1.5 million kilometers on the original battery. That's roughly 1 million miles. So they can go the distance.
And here's the other thing. There are a lot of Uber drivers in Vancouver that drive a Tesla, and there are a lot of cab drivers that have the Toyota BZ4X. And we asked a cab driver about the BZ or BZ4X, depending on where you live. And he said it's great. Like, he doesn't even have to charge it up during the day. He drives it home, and then he charges it overnight, and it's ready to go. I was shocked about that.
But back to the hybrid part. the hybrid batteries are small. They're only about 1.5 kilowatts.
That's right.
And then they're charging and discharging all the way through the drive cycle. And the proof is that they are very reliable. Like they have a 10-year warranty on the Toyotas.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the Honda's the same, but it'll be at least 8. Here's what you can do is you can just get rid of it at the end of its battery warranty if you're worried about it. But there's so many of these on the road, you'll be able to see whether they've been reliable or not.
And I think the Toyota is 8 years now, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they put it up to 10 though, didn't they? Maybe they've dropped it back down again.
From what I see online, it's 8 years. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong.
But there was a time where they had it at 10. Either way, drive the car and enjoy it, and then see what the market's doing. If you see a bunch of problems, maybe get rid of it.
And I just want to give you an example. So you've got the small hybrid battery, which is under 2 kilowatt hour. Then a plug-in hybrid battery is 18 to 20 kilowatt hour. And then you've got an EV that's up from 58 to over 100 kilowatt hour. So there's a substantial difference in the price of replacing a battery for each kind of level, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and EV. So I wouldn't worry so much about the hybrid. I find myself wishing we could go back in time to when car manufacturers put CD players in cars and left their steering wheels the way God intended them, round. Would you be willing to use your superpowers to make this happen, please? Also, on a more serious note, what are your thoughts on BC ferries not allowing damaged EVs on board?
Well, let me start with that one and go backwards. So if a car is damaged, it has to be barged off one of the islands here. Because they don't want it on the ferry in case there was a fire. Mm-hmm. So people who have a car but the whole thing is, how would they, I guess if it's on a tow truck, they won't allow the tow truck on.
It's only towing.
Towing, yeah.
So if you have a vehicle, an electric vehicle that you can drive on the ferry, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's no problem.
It has to be towed off.
It's only if it is towed. So the issue is, if you live on the island and you have an EV that needs to come to the city to be fixed, let's say, it needs to go to a dealership here. You can't get it here.
It has to be barged, at your expense.
At your expense. So I wonder if there is something here where a company could start something up and maybe put them on a private boat and get them across.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You have to put it on a private barge. You have to pay somebody to barge it off the island. Yeah. So it's an issue. It's just another roadblock for a certain people. But there you go. So yes, if God intended a round steering wheel, then it should be.
Yeah. Well, we always complain. Like we just did the Ford Expedition and the Lincoln Navigator with the crazy steering wheel, and we complained. Are they going to listen to us and go, gee, that's a complaint? But then maybe we should change it. But then a viewer wrote in and said, I think he has the Expedition. And he goes, you get used to it. It's not that bad. But it depends how you're driving it. If you do a ton of highway driving and then you pull into your suburban driveway, maybe it isn't that bad, but the way that we were driving it in the city, it wasn't that good.
Yeah, so if you do suburban driving and highway driving, listen, and you're a one-handed driver, like you drive like this, the flat steering wheel, if you drive with one hand, if you're kind of one of these guys, it's super comfortable. It's very comfortable to do this with the flat top. It's the maneuvering, as Andrea mentioned, and you get used to anything. But yeah, listen, the market will tell these brands whether they're getting it right or wrong. We're already seeing some brands move away from screens and put back buttons, as God intended. So the market will eventually come to an equilibrium. Where that is, we'll have to wait and see.
With the demise of the Escape that Ford might bring in the Everest to North America based on the Maverick, I think it would sell really well.
I don't believe it's based on the Maverick.
I think not. Maybe he's saying, though, if it were based on the Maverick.
Yes. So that's what the Escape is. The Escape is on the same platform as Maverick. They're all sharing the same unibody design. So what the Everest is based on the Ranger platform. So it's a body-on-frame truck. I would love to see that come. That is hot as hell. The Everest looks fantastic.
I don't think it'll ever come, and here's why. Because why would you buy that over an Explorer? You're just going to cannibalize Explorer sales. And if you need something bigger, then they have the Expedition. I just
Andrea.
not see it. And also, from what I understand, viewers have told me who live not in North America, but other areas where the Everest is sold, the Explorer is not sold there.
Yes, but just go over to the Toyota dealer. They have a Highlander. They've got a Grand Highlander. They've got a RAV4. Oh, by the way, they've got a body-on-frame called 4Runner, and they just added a Land Cruiser, and they have a Sequoia, and they have, so they've got so much. So Toyota has proven if you have the right mix for the market, you can sell all of those. I think a body-on-frame SUV from based on the Ranger to go up against 4Runner from Ford would be chef's kiss.
And people would disagree with you about that with Toyota, that there's way too many.
They can't
of
make
the same
enough
vehicles of them all. So I don't know.
Right below.
And
let us know your thoughts.
And Land Cruiser priced at over 73,000 Canadian as a starting price. I mean, these prices are absolutely insane.
Have you seen how many are on the road?
There aren't that many.
There
here,
are lots of them on the
there are
road.
some
I've seen
here.
loads of Land Cruisers, not many new 4Runners, but the 4Runners just sort of arrived.
But I agree. I think the Everest looks great. I just don't believe that they're going to bring it out. I like your idea, though, based on the Maverick and coming out with a smaller super, but then they have the Bronco Sport. So that's their kind of cool vehicle.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping
know.
that when Blazer was going to go back to the body on frame Blazer that we used to have years ago, but they didn't do that.
They didn't do that. Thanks for a great YouTube channel. So helpful and informative. Thank you. I saw that Jeep is relaunching the Cherokee as a hybrid in 2026. I'm looking for a compact SUV, so I'm very intrigued. Are you going to review it?
Yeah, we'll get it.
We will.
So the advanced scouting on it is it's big and it's a hybrid. And I think that's exactly what they need.
Yeah, I agree. I think that will be a bigger hit for Stellantis versus what they currently have available. I'm going to buy either a Honda HR-V or the Toyota Corolla Cross gas engines, 1 or 2 years old used. Which one would you guys choose?
I think that the HR-V has got some better packaging when it comes to interior space. It's got a nice big cargo area. I really like the design of the dash. The center console has kind of got this sort of like flowing thing. All of that is really good. The design of the HR-V is really well done. Where it falls down is the 2-liter engine, which has proven to be very, very reliable, is kind of just barely adequate for that size car.
It's slow. The Corolla Cross gas model gets loud on the highway. I'm really torn between the two. I like the space of the HR-V, but also because it is a bigger subcompact vehicle, it really lacks power. What it needs is a hybrid. If I could suggest, instead of the gas model, I would choose the Corolla Cross hybrid and just get a used one.
But if you're, maybe it's price point, right? So maybe the gas ones are cheaper. I get it. What I would do is I would go and find one of each and drive them in the situation that you're using it. If you're doing highway driving, drive it on the highway. If you drive stop and go traffic, do that. And then see which one you like. There's no wrong answer. They're both fine.
Yeah.
None of them is lighting the world on fire when it comes to performance.
No.
And they're both proven drive systems, so just pick the one you like.
But if you're doing mostly city driving, then you'll probably find the power to be sufficient in both, and the Corolla Cross gas model doesn't get as loud. It's really when you get it on the highway and you try and pass that cabin gets quite a bit louder.
Okay, so questions. Well, there's one last question for Questions, Coffee, and Cars. How do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday, I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.